Merry Christmas! 'Tis the season to embrace your fellow man with warmth and kindness, and forgive them of all their wrongdoings. Goodwill should be shared with everyone as proof that underneath the darkest, grimiest soul, there's something worthwhile, something that justifies their existence as a human being. What I'm trying to say is that after subjecting people to retarded zombies and dancing kung fu grandmas, I'm probably on Jesus' naughty list. If that's how this fucking holiday works, I don't know. To make amends, I picked an odd Christmas movie from Finland about reindeer herders hunting Santa Claus. This seemed weird enough for the show, yet it scored high enough with critics that making other people watch it might be considered mercy. Even if it ends up being a fuck-up, and it's awful, at least I can say that I tried and it's not my fault that my guests drank bleach to ease the pain. So I grabbed Paul and Chris, the two people who put up with the most shit over the last year on the show, and I subjected them to Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale.
Who the hell writes things like this? Who's this guy? Why is he here? So we're just cutting to here now. Why not? They couldn't even write the animals well.
How does
He
that
was
make
just
any
there.
sense?
How could he be there now?
Like this?
No, just take the top
What's
off.
this
How
guy?
people act. Fuck me. What did I just watch?
Are we recording, by the way? Do I have to cut out 7 minutes of this fucking conversation?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So yeah, I had to watch this movie extremely hungover this morning.
I only watched this one. I only watched it this morning as well. But that's because I ordered it to my actual house rather than my student accommodation. So I couldn't watch it till this weekend anyway, because I wasn't home.
Oh, God.
And when I ordered it from a really cheap site. So the postage and package was actually more than the DVD itself. So I ended up just ordering like 13 other DVDs with like the word ninja or whatever sounded worst.
Oh boy, it looks like we have some
That's
material here.
I don't even know what else. I'm trying to think what other movies. I got a film called Serial Cops with Michael Madsen. I was like, what?
Please tell me it's spelled with a C. Serial.
That would be amazing. But no, it's just like, are they serially cops or what? I got a film called Total Reality, which I've already seen, but I really wanted to see it again because it's just fucking terrible. And that's what I do with my time.
No, that's all.
That's what I do with
does.
my time. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many bad movies I've seen in the last week. Not even for any show. I was just like, hey, let's throw this on. This sounds wonderful. With Killer Babies, I'm all for it. And it's a serious drama. No, I don't think it was Killer Babies or anything.
That's the worst. That's the worst thing is when you pick up a movie, you think this is going to be retarded fun, and it's not. It's just unbelievably dull.
I know, and you can't say much about it because you just go, well, it was boring. At least this one, you can't say that. This felt like a fucking Christmas movie.
It was
didn't
definitely a Christmas movie. Strangest looking little kid I've not ever seen in a movie, but definitely up there.
It's like if you thought The Thing should have been Santa Claus.
Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I'm not the only one to say that. Just about every review I've read for this movie, they brought that up. It's like, it feels like it's The Thing.
It does.
Is that a compliment?
I love John Carpenter's The Thing, so yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a compliment.
but I don't think they're talking about the quality of the movie. I think they're just talking about, I feel like my head's going to fall off my shoulders and grow legs and run away.
Well, I loved this movie. I really enjoyed it on a genuine level. I thought it was really well paced, and I actually liked the characters. They didn't feel like caricatures. They felt like real people, and it got me really invested in the movie. And it was so bizarre, I had to keep watching.
So here's my problem.
Right.
I've recently been watching a lot of MST3K on like Netflix and Amazon. So a lot of these Gamera movies that they watched have a little kid in them telling them the truth. And they're like, oh, you're just a dumb little kid. Shut the fuck up and go to your room. I'm like, what? He's telling you, like, there's an evil fucking man in the closet or whatever.
I thought it was really good. And I never knew where it was going to go.
That is true. How the fuck can you predict where this movie is going to go?
Apart from the biting scene, I actually saw him getting bitten in the ear coming, and it didn't make it any better.
I was actually predicting that more people were going to die during those. Oh, this is obviously going to happen kind of scenes. But oh no, he just got kind of hurt a little bit. Oh, and he survived till the end. Okay.
But wait, fighting scene? Did I just lock out something? It was like, no, this part of the movie is boring.
One of the elves bit the guy's ear off. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, that part was awesome.
Because when he was about to put the biscuit in Santa's mouth, I actually thought, oh no, he's gonna. It was like, thought you better watch your fingers there. And so when he started to lean in with the ear, I was like, oh shit, I can see where this is going.
He's getting a brain munched out of his skull.
But it didn't make it any better.
No.
Well, I like this movie too, but I have to disagree with the characters. I mean, yes, they feel a little bit more real, and maybe it's a culture that I don't understand completely. I mean, this movie's from Finland, and I just thought that the characters were so wildly inconsistent, but in a very enjoyable way. Like, at one point, it's like, oh, this father feels like someone who actually cares. He has this fucking apron on that's obviously from his dead wife, trying to cook for his kid, but he also gives him a gun.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's a different culture.
And then he'll just start yelling, and when they go to the cops, he just becomes this huge asshole to his son.
He was a huge asshole
who he just gave a gun.
He was definitely a huge asshole before he went to the cops.
There may be a culture clash, but that is definitely some Alabama shit right there.
Well, I didn't say that they were necessarily all nice people. No. They were definitely doing some illegal shit.
Like picking illegal wolf traps.
Yeah.
Or when they have a guy who they think is hurt, instead of bringing him to a hospital, they're going to cut him up in a saw.
Yes, yeah.
In fairness, he did look extremely dead.
Yeah.
He even had frostbite on his feet, from what I remember.
Yeah. Well, there is a little bit of history to this movie, because we're not the only people who like this. It actually won awards. The director and the producer, they received the Finnish Film State Award, which I looked at the fan site, and there are a couple of other Norwegian films on... Yeah, this movie has a fan site.
What?
But I don't think there's a lot of competition. The other Norwegian movie I saw was called Norwegian Ninja.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've heard of that, yeah.
How have you heard of that?
Because he has all these movies that have ninja in the title.
I haven't.
Well, I keep buying 13 or 14 of them at a time just to get your one shitty movie.
Yeah, I think it got recommended to me on IMDb, where it's got an astounding 1.8 rating.
Wait, on IMDb?
I think so. Well, last time I checked, it may have changed. That was like a year ago.
Yeah. Oh, Norwegian Ninja. I thought we were still talking about this movie.
Oh no, this one does great. No, Norwegian Ninja has got like a 1.8. But apparently the film was based on a couple of other short films, and they attracted such a following that the director was encouraged to make a movie.
Yeah, and they're about 3 hunters searching for a wild, reclusive Santa Claus, and the second one was more of, I think it was like a how-to guide or something like that. I wish I could have seen them, except I'm very lazy and do absolutely no research.
Well, I just got that off Wiki. I would love to have seen them both as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they must be entertaining. This was entertaining as shit. I might even watch it again.
Yeah, it was much better than watching gay people be retarded or elderly Shaolin people playing croquet.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, Merry Christmas, guys. This is what you get. A movie that doesn't make you want to claw your eyes out through your asshole. Yeah. I mean, this movie on Rotten Tomatoes has a solid 89%. It has a 6.7 on IMDb, which, it's IMDb, so they're a little fickle.
Yeah.
And Metacritic, which usually is polarized opposites, is a whole bunch of trolls and the people who made the movie usually voting, but it's good 71% there. Even Roger Ebert gave it 3.5 stars. So this is actually something that people enjoy.
It's odd to say that on this show.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's such a weird premise. An evil Santa Claus is kidnapping children, and this one... Granted, there's a whole bunch of weird shit going on besides what I just said.
Going on.
But it comes off so... What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say childish, because then you see a whole bunch of dead reindeer all over the Arctic ice, and then it's like, it's for kids. Oh, wait, there's all that gore.
Yeah, they can't. The kids that can't see this movie because it's a 15.
But there is a review by somebody. His name is the Espresso Kid, and yes, he spelled espresso wrong. He spelled it with an X. I guess that makes it more extreme.
Idiot.
And he titled his review "Excellent for All Ages." And then he goes on he gives it a 10 out of 10 and says that there is nothing in this film that kids can't cope with. Maybe it would even have them grow up a little.
A part of me would agree with that. The only thing that maybe I would say would be a problem would be the amount of elderly naked men.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Oh, the amount of dogs.
Maybe that's what he's talking about when the kids will grow up when they see it.
Yeah. Probably not in the right way.
No. I will say, though, they got the creepy factor on those old dudes, like, pretty spot on. Especially with, like, the flashy eyes. Oof. I don't know. I was kind of... Especially, like, when he was, like, crouched and huddled and he was just, like, barely looking up except when he heard the kid or saw the kid. I'm just like... That's extremely fucking disturbing. I don't know. I thought it was pretty effective in freaking me the fuck out.
They look like they've been sort of a little bit computer enhanced as well. I noticed a little bit of a glow around the edge of them as well. That made them do. They all felt very otherworldly.
Mm-hmm.
It did have that creepiness factor, but there were things that took me out of it. It felt a little bit like Gremlins in the way that it was just suddenly become a little scary or a little scarier than it should be, but it still tried to create this innocent surrounding. Of course, then, right as that would happen, I'd be like, "Kid, why the fuck are you not wearing pants in the snow? You're wearing a sweater, you're cold. Put on some goddamn pants."
Hey, at least he took the time to put boots on.
Or then it's like, oh man, these elves are really creepy. That one dress, that is what an evil Santa Claus looked like. That is a lot of old man penis running right at me. I do not need that.
I'd be scared too.
I would be scared because I think that like a million old like Nambla guys are fucking trying to rape me. But yeah, there's been a lot of great reviews for this. Like this guy John Brooks from IMDb says this is a great movie. It would have been impossible for Hollywood to have made this movie. He evidently does not like having long sentences. They would have needed a huge special effects budget in the Did he say continuity people?
Well, what?
Well.
And the continuity people would never have allowed it through. They would have played it as a goofy... All right, here's the point. This is why I copied and pasted this. This guy can't write.
Yeah.
They would have played it as a goofy comedy. Thankfully, it was made in Finland. Now, I want to agree with what this guy said, but I'm not exactly sure what that means. It's like the Hollywood that we know and love might have screwed this up and would have played it too cornball. But can we actually say, thank God it was made in Finland? I'm thinking maybe Spain could have done a good job.
Sure. Maybe
set it in Mexico, with a lot of good filmmakers know how to make a movie. But Finland, the one where they're like, can we have like a rapey feeling vampire that is like hundreds of years old and just hangs out with a kid? Yeah, that sounds fine. I have absolutely no problem with that at all.
We'll show the underage naked bodies. Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. No, it's not creepy. When she takes off her pants, she has no vagina.
Maybe
this is how Finland thinks.
Maybe that was the sort of quote that the tourism board paid for.
Please, God, come to Finland. It's nothing but ice and snow and dead reindeers. We really need someone to give us money. But it actually took me a long time before I found a bad review for it. And because most of the poor reviews usually just complain about the ending, which I didn't see that for a weird movie like this, it actually fit rather well. Yeah. I don't know what they wanted.
I guess they wanted everyone to get brutally murdered.
They set up that ending from the beginning, like the dynamite, when the kids were hiding behind.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought it was a good ending, yeah.
Yeah, I was fine with it. I thought, like, you didn't really see Santa at the end, but you saw his fucking horns, whatever the hell those were.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did they take the horns?
Yeah, that really confused... That was one thing... There were one or two things in this movie that I didn't think were fantastically well established. And one thing was that Santa had horns. So when they were driving away, I was like, what even is that?
No,
I don't know. They did a great job where it's like, you see just enough for it to be really...
Yeah.
The rest of it's in ice. That was effective. But then again, the people who are complaining about the ending are people like MD Nobles 19, who calls his review a lump of dull coal, and then he gives it a 5 out of 10. But he does that in the article, and he completely forgot to use the star rating that IMDb provides for you. He basically went on to just be like, oh, it's stupid, it was boring, I hated it, the ending sucked, 5 out of 10. But I don't want IMDb to score it like that.
Yeah. Look at the 0.
Mopey asshole who just happened to jump on a computer and saw a movie where he's like, I liked it, but I can't let people know I like it.
I went 30 minutes without an explosion.
I know, right?
You have to go that long? Because there were quite a few explosions.
Were there?
Were there that many? I know there was one right at the end.
I thought wasn't there one at the beginning too?
The one in the beginning was just when they were blasting the mountain, and like the kids saw the top.
You sort of see the smoke, but you don't really see the explosion.
You hear the boom.
All right, you know what? Maybe I was distracted because through half the movie, while I was paying attention, I really was just screaming, "Why does the kid have a fucking gun?"
Well, they do explain that there are like killer wolves on the ground.
There's a lot of wolves.
As far as they know.
They need illegal wolf traps in order to deal with them.
Yeah. And they think all those Russian wolves have escaped across the border. That's how they explain all the deers being killed. So I'm assuming that they will eat your fucking face off.
Exactly.
Which is fine, but the father's logic is, kid, even though you're kind of a pussy, and you're definitely retarded, good job wearing that helmet. Yeah. Keep safe.
Yeah.
Have this gun. I am now completely unarmed. I mean, that's just one of the inconsistent things. Like, the past was one thing, and then the kid, he totally just can't look at his father butchering what I think was a boar or a pig or something like that.
It was a pig.
But then when he knows about the death spike trap and that something fell in it, he's like, I want to see it. It's like, kid, you want to see the awful gross stuff or don't you? This isn't Reddit.
Speaking of the kids, I thought one of the creepiest bits is when they found the weird doll thing.
Yeah.
Replaced one of the children. I thought that was really effective. Especially because you had no clue what that was.
Yeah, I thought it was like a husk or something.
Yeah, they didn't really explain it, but I guess the Santa Claus, what he does is when he kidnaps the children, he leaves a doll in its place, and they play it like that in the story, but they don't explain it.
Yeah.
Everyone treated that the retarded kid like an asshole.
Maybe they reminded him of all the kids from Gamera as well.
Exactly.
That's why they treated him so badly.
They were terrible people in Gamera.
So let's talk about this ending, since a lot of people have been, when they do say it's poor, this is what they bring up. So everything eventually leads to Santa being in a ball of ice. At the beginning, he's under a mountain because that's where he was put. He's an evil, evil being. He gets frozen in a lake, which I guess he just fell into.
In a lake? I thought they said they captured him and buried him.
Well,
and it took centuries to make the mound.
He fell into a lake and froze.
Okay.
And they put him in the mound.
Okay.
Because I love folklore like that.
There's a lot of weird Santa folklore, which I think they actually just took bits and pieces of in this movie, especially like for some reason that the kids being replaced with like hey kids are. It seems really familiar. Like, I mean, I remember reading some weird legends on Saint Nicholas or the whatever saint would bring presents or kidnap children or something. He kidnaps bad children, beats them with a stick.
But I think it was probably a good decision to keep him vague, because that kept you guessing the whole way through the movie.
Yeah, because they never had one specific Santa Claus that they were going through. The kid was reading book after book after book.
That's
so
right,
there was a lot to choose from. But yeah, they froze Santa, and this guy wanted to... Somehow.
Fell in the lake.
So someone wants him for his power, his Santa power. Does he want presents? Was he not given enough, comfort as a child?
And you're thinking about the old man from the beginning. Like this is the whole reason why this thing is happening. He's like, ever since I was a child, I wanted to figure out this mystery. I'm like, okay.
Ever since I was a child, I had a vague motivation involving Santa Claus.
Yes, thank you, low-budget version of the evil Nazi from Raiders of the Lost Ark. But he wanted it, and then he left because you have to give his character this. He's rich and powerful, so why the fuck would he stick around?
Yeah.
I have rich people things to do.
I figured it was because, like, they discovered all those old men, and, like, they were all killed, and he left with them. But then after that, he did know all about what was going on when he got that helicopter.
He didn't seem to know enough to avoid taking, like, an axe to the face, though.
Yeah. Jesus.
For kids, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right?
For all ages.
Totally murdered. Like,
fuck it, they gotta grow up sometime.
Is that before or after they see the old man penis?
Oh, it's easily after.
Or smack in the middle.
So yeah, at least you know that there's this defrosting Santa Claus this entire time. You just don't know where he is because the red herring is that these elves, they think they're the Santa Claus, which was actually a great reaction from Raiders of the Lost Ark villain there.
But
he sees him and then he just goes, quick, puts on a fake smile, like, quick, be nice. Very nice. Why? No, this isn't Santa. He's around.
You know what? That actually reminded me so much of the Piranha remake. There's that bit where at the end Christopher Lloyd's like, "It's the kids. They're actually the kids.
These are the young ones."
Yeah, they don't have adult genitalia.
And that's when Adam Scott got the fuck out of that franchise.
Oh, he was in the second one, wasn't he? Oh man, he said
he dies at the very end of the first one. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
Where were we? Frozen Santa Claus, Elf Dong.
There's really not much to this.
Old man says to smile. Then he dies.
Oh boy.
All right. You know what? I say that
Which is odd because he tells everyone you keep smiling and then he never does it.
Yeah. Maybe he's just thinking happy thoughts. This definitely reminded me of the Futurama Santa a lot.
Yes. Yes.
Are we gonna like a fucking cannon or something from the Santa sleigh?
He should have got a tow missile.
But not you, Zoidberg. You get a pogo stick.
Hooray! So anyway, they get chased into this warehouse, don't they? That resembles the number 24 door on the boys' calendar.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, I guess that could be clever enough for what the movie was.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good foreshadowing.
It was a little too heavy-handed in a way, because he kept on like, I'm not going to open this door. Now I'm going to staple my advent calendar door shut. Oh, now I'm here at the warehouse where it looks exactly like my advent calendar door. I don't know. I thought it was kind of one of the weaker parts of the...
But Santa would do a dick thing like that, where he'd be behind door 24.
Of course he would. Well, yes, you're right. It is Santa.
But of course, I have to say the ending does exactly what I think any person would do in that situation. I mean, these people might be complaining about how they wish it could be done in a clever way, sort of tie in the mythos to how Santa would be killed. I don't know. I find that to be bullshit. I would, in my opinion, if I was there in those characters' shoes, I would grab every stick of dynamite I could find and shove it right up his ass and just blow him out. And that's what they did.
Exactly.
Would you steal his horn?
What?
Would you steal Santa's horn for purposes unknown?
I'd make motorcycle handles out of it. That sounds metal.
See, I actually had to fill that plot hole myself. I'm like, they're obviously taking it to prove that there's some fucking crazy supernatural being that they killed. But it's gonna be one of those things oh, you just got this from some fucking deformed antelope or something like that. But the crazy thing is, I was thinking the whole time, that's not gonna work. They're gonna just release Santa. No way. And I'm realizing, especially by the end, they fucking have they have sticks of dynamite every inch or two from each other. And I'm like, yeah, I think this is probably gonna explode in a very awesome explosion. He's definitely going to die. There's no way something can survive that unless you want to be like J.J. Abrams and his fucking unstoppable monster takes fucking, I don't know, napalm bombs on its back and it's fine.
Well, you don't know. Maybe Santa could have wrapped himself up into a UFO and flew away.
I did kind of hope that we would get some kind of hint that maybe Santa was still alive, but then I realized, actually no, because then that would imply a sequel, and I don't want to see a sequel. So it probably was for the best that we didn't.
So glad there's no sequel build up a la Super Mario Brothers or something.
Yeah, I mean, because for some reason I sort of wanted to see Santa. I didn't think that could kill Santa, but at the same time, no sequel, so great.
Yeah.
This film is perfectly contained. I don't want to not see a sequel because this film was bad. I just want to not see a sequel so it doesn't ruin this one.
Exactly.
Yeah, for all of the flaws that are in it, it's so much fun to watch, and it feels like Christmas. That's really hard to do. I mean, we'll watch Die Hard as a Christmas movie, I guess ironically, because it takes place around Christmas, and so that we don't have to get, fucking saccharine shit like It's a Wonderful Life. But
you just don't get a movie that's this twisted that feels like Christmas. I mean, this is the movie that ends with them enslaving an entire race of elves and shipping them off to be mall Santas.
I forgot about that part.
It was like the reverse ending of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I thought that was exactly.
That's the third Raiders of the Lost Ark reference we've made this episode.
Yeah, but this one definitely was like, because the pullback was exactly the same when they were pushing the Ark through the warehouse.
It's true.
All the boxes were the same.
And instead they're sending them to like Singapore to like have poor Chinese kids cry on their laps. I don't know, where the fuck is Singapore? Thailand, right? Alright, so what were your favorite parts of this movie? Like, what's the one scene that you have to tell somebody about if you recommend this?
I'm actually thinking the biting scene was quite suspenseful. I thought that worked really well.
Yeah, I might have to agree. That's like that whole part where they capture the is fucking insane. I really love it.
It was so mysterious.
I hate to say it, but if I had to recommend this movie to someone, I think I'd spoil the ending because that was just so cool to me.
One interesting thing about the film was that there were no women in it at all.
Yeah, there weren't.
I mean, you might have seen a woman name. And
yeah, but I don't know.
The guy thought that he was chasing girls, so they were around
they
somewhere.
Were mentioned. They certainly were mentioned. Even when they went, didn't they go sort of into town at one point, or was that just one police officer?
I think that, which, by the way, in that entire frozen wasteland, the kid happens to come across a cop at the right time.
They patrol, bro.
Yeah.
That is some bad fucking luck.
I wondered what the dad was going to do when he was tailing that cop. I thought, don't try and run him off the road.
Well, it wasn't freaky because the kid got picked up, and the kid was the one with the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cop didn't even question it, so I guess it's just normal in Finland.
To protect themselves from wolves, man.
Yeah.
I just love the logic. No, your wolf pit's illegal. So what do we do with this guy? Well, let's chop him up into little pieces, as if that's more legal or more right than what just happened.
Yeah.
And the cops seem kind of cool. I mean, he's a bit of a dick, but all cops are in these movies. I think he would have understood, especially with the influx from Russia. We all know these Russian wolves are just you can't nuke them, you can't shoot them, you can't do anything. They just keep coming back.
I don't know. He wouldn't want those pits there, just in case people were out chasing women and they fell in.
On this guy's property.
Yeah.
All right, so what are your final thoughts on the movie?
I would say go in with an open mind and just sit back and enjoy it. It's a crazy ride, but you'll probably find it fun.
How about you, Paul?
Don't be distracted by the kid's face. Enjoy the prospect of Russian wolves coming through a fence. Just kidding. Santa dies at the end.
Merry Christmas, asshole.
Merry fucking Christmas, Santa Claus.
Probably the only movie that will make your Christmas after killing Santa Claus.
All right, so I made you guys sit through this. Do you guys have a movie that you would want me to see?
I really want you to see. I had an idea. Martians Go Home.
All right, make your case. Why?
Because it's annoying as shit, and I want to hear you rage about it. The premise is about annoying aliens, and they're really fucking annoying.
I mean, I have seen My Favorite Martian, the remake.
Oh.
So,
I thought you were talking about the
day one when it came out in theaters, I was like, what, 13?
I can't wait to hear you talk about that movie.
Well, I'll find a copy, I'll watch it, and until next time, fuck off. And that's that. If you have your own opinion, questions, requests, or just have some good old-fashioned hate mail, email the show at wdijwpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at somejerkfb, or on Tumblr by looking up Some Jerk from Boston. More episodes can be found on either iTunes or Stitcher. Until next time, if you take away anything from this movie, you should remember that you should always, always run from the swarm of naked old men, whether they're Santa's elves or not. Adios, and happy Christmas, fuckers.